And welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe that there is a power greater in the universe, greater than we are, and that we can use it, that we are here by divine appointment, that we heard the call and we answered. If you tuned in at this moment, you tuned in at this moment because there's something here for you. So this morning, as we gather together to acknowledge that life is a precious gift, that there's a magic of the season. I saw a Facebook post that people should be loving every single day and be giving every single day. Why does it just have to be at Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever the particular holiday? This was veered at Christmas. And I wrote back and said, isn't it wonderful that there is a universal reminder that not only the spirit of giving and receiving, because life is a cycle, an amazing cycle, that to acknowledge that every moment is a precious gift, and that when there are these universal reminders, that it brings us into a consciousness of remembrance, a cellular memory. When we didn't need the outer, we just knew that we knew that we knew. And you know yourself that when you know something, and you know that you know, not even the gates of hell shall prevail against thee, because you know that you know. So energetically, when we look at every moment as a precious gift, Wordsworth knew this. He wrote a poem, a beautiful poem, my favorite poem, an ode to intimations of early childhood from recollections of the past. And he said, though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass or glory in the flower, I will grieve not. Rather find strength in what remains behind. And I must tell you, having witnessed at the Nobel Peace Prize, this young Pakistani girl from, a place of getting shot in the head because she wanted an education. And Malala stated that when I was shot in the head and they were carrying me into the hospital, I thought that I may die, but if I live, all the fear within me was absorbed that day to the strength to rise up triumphant and victorious for the rights of young women to get an education and not fear being shot in the head. That day, all the fear within me dissolved, and the energy of strength arose triumphant and victorious. And on a gurney into the hospital, and to make that declaration to herself. And I think of all the things that happen that we give our power away to in our country. When things don't go our way, or someone says something about us. My granny from Oklahoma, my tobacco-chewing granny used to say, if people aren't talking about you, you're no damn good. So when you're doing something, they're going to talk about you. So make it all right with you. You draw the circle, and you include that. And my whole thing in finding this way of life is, he drew a circle that shut me out, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. That doesn't mean he's going to be our bosom buddy, but we do acknowledge that there is the God particle, as the quantum physicist stated, within each and every one of us that we can acknowledge. The behavior we may not relate to. Go with God, but by all means go. Yeah, however, when you're in our energy field, we know how you are. And believe me, being a world traveler, it's so interesting to see energetically. By the time I had traveled 26 hours, I was in the wrong lines. And they would say, you're in the wrong line. I go, oh my gosh, what do I do about that? And they would look at me, and they'd look at the passport, and they look at me, and I go, I know I don't look 70. And they just do this. And they just, I never play the 70 card, but in traveling I do. And, and so they will go on through. Just go on through. And so the next time I did, I said, I should put my glasses on. I didn't know I was in the wrong line. Oh, dear. And they go, well, we'll let you through this time. And then when I got into Newark, where I do not like to do customs because you have a connecting flight, you got to get your luggage. You're living in the moment, but you're thinking about your luggage on the trolley to get to the connecting flight, to get through immigration and to do it all. And I came to the gate, and I was pretty out of breath because the connecting flight was late. And I get to the immigration officer. He said, well, hi, pretty. And I go, wow. I was just like, oh, I can just breathe through this now. And so they do it electronically now. And he said, did you answer no on the immigration list? I said, yes, I did. Throw it away. Take this. Go up. Get this. And so the angel of traveling mercies went before me and prepared the way with ease and grace. And there is a certain amount of rigor and stress when you've got to make your connecting flight. And I just kept making that affirmation. And that as we get to the other side and living in that moment and listening, I sat next, to a man in Denver where our flight was delayed an hour. And he was a psychiatrist and asked me what I was doing. I said, well, I was at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremonies. I am the president of the International Foundation for World Peace and Research. And I have a ministry in Palm Springs where we believe that God is all-inclusive. We believe in the all-inclusivity of God, that beyond color, race, creed, or sexual orientation, that we are one. He goes, wow, that's really great. He goes, but, it's kind of a pie-in-the-sky kind of thing. I said, it is if you think it is, because each person can do their part. We can all do our part in the universal collective consciousness by putting out that vibe of oneness and equality. And when we put that energy out there, others are going to get it. It's like the 100th monkey, that were washing their sweet potatoes. One went into the streams, they were washing their sweet potatoes. Another one saw that and started doing it. Everybody on the island was doing it. And then the monkeys on other islands began taking their sweet potatoes, washing them in the stream. Because there was an energy, an electromagnetic energy that lifts us to the next level when it's right. And we know that equality is right. We know in our hearts, at that deepest place within us, we came in with it. We know that we're one. When my little 5-year-old grandson was 3 years old, my daughter said, I was thinking about all the things I hate. I hate dusting. And then, their adopted son, Robert, said, yeah, he hates dusting too. And then Tai at 3 years old said, you know what I hate? She got, oh my God, how could I have said that in front of him? Yeah. He said, I hate it when I hurt somebody's feelings. She said, I felt like this small. I said, you shouldn't have felt that small. He got that in your collective energy field of how you really believe and feel. He got that. And that we're on Disneyland on his 5th birthday. We're all making wishes in the little wishing well. This is what Jesus talked about, be as a little child. Most little kids are dreaming about that next truck and that next little whatever it is in the technology field and their apps and their this and their that. We're all sharing what we wished for. He said, I wish my daddy was here. I said, well, you know what? He'll be here tomorrow. This is a new generation arising. It's about relationships. It's about being with one another. It's about, I don't ever want to hurt somebody's feelings. If I do, forgive me. It was not my intention to do that. And if I take something that you say and I'm feeling off one day energetically and I feel hurt by that, I know that you didn't mean that. That energetically we all want the best one for the other. So that here's this young 16-year-old girl, and at the time she was 15, shot in the head because she wanted an education. Her co-creator of the Nobel Peace Prize, Sayati, in charge of, he just took it upon himself in India to be the spokesperson for child labor and created orphanages and places of sanctuary for these little children. Unless we become as a little children, we shall not see the kingdom of God. We shall not see the higher order, the bigger picture, and the opportunity that when calamity strikes, that we make that declaration that, as Indira Gandhi said, if I die today, every drop of my blood will invigorate the nation. That energetically my life makes a difference. And when we're feeling disempowered and what can I do? We can begin to forward and advance our thoughts. We can begin to go into meditation, to realize that the crooked places of hurt and pain and the wounded child within us is healed here and now. And then we can give something back to the universal collective consciousness when we heal our own issues. I was raised in domestic violence. I had somebody attack me on Facebook that, who finances all of this when you go all over the world looking glamorous? I'd have a lot more respect for you if you were in your T-shirt all sweaty and, in the soup kitchen and your hair a mess and all that. Who finances this? And then you have a large gay community, and she put superficial under that. And then she put all these things. I saw red. Let me tell you, I did not have the spiritual reaction. I wanted to just shake her. And then I breathed. I wrote a first response, which I threw away. Right? And then I wrote, from the truth of me, that I am financed by those who retain me. I'm actually paid as well, that energetically. And that our Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide is the most loving community on the planet. Regardless of color, race, creed, or sexual orientation, we are one. And that before you judge any human being, walk a mile in their moccasins. I was raised in domestic violence. My sister took her own life. I am an advocate for peace because of what I went through. Not at the effect of what I went through. Not with a story where people will feel sorry for me. But I am empowered by what happened to me and being raised in that environment. And then, I had a last line, and I always have my dear Reverend Linda, who's my dearest friend, and I ordained Linda. And she said, well, the last line maybe, it sounds a little defensive, maybe soften that a bit. So I softened it a bit and sent it off, and the gal wrote back and said, thank you so much for your honest and authentic sharing. I got it. Safe travels. So we want to fight back, don't we? We want to just tell people how it is. But the truth is that when they look outside themselves, and there's jealousy, and how dare you be out there looking glamorous. I thought, at 70, I'm still getting it. I mean, I thought, when I turned 50 and then 60, and energetically, and I had to laugh and think about my old tobacco-chewing granny from Oklahoma and what she said. And so I treated it with compassion and love. And compassion and love are what works. And when we approach life in that way, we go to the next level. Barbara and Donna are here from the Santa Anita Church formerly. When I was the minister there, I was only a minister there for a year. There were 60 people. In 1 year's time, we had 600 people, 2 services, all kinds of classes, workshops, you name it. I went away for a month, and when I came in, they had 5 assistant ministers, which Donna used to lovingly call the ugly stepsisters. And only because they thought they were. And they kept saying, they went out to find a speaker and to get a minister out there and went to San Diego and got her. And here's 5 of us here, and they didn't choose any of us. Well, that's how it is, right? Nothing's fair in life. Everything's by right of consciousness, right? We got that. So I went away for a month, and I had just worked night and day getting this ministry up and off the ground. The mentor there was one of my mentor, and who I adored. And it was so interesting. They ordered her off grounds, and they had someone else come in, and the whole thing floundered, and it was just a mess. So I came into, this place that was gorgeous, but the paint was peeling, the things were chipped. It was a mess. My San Diego congregation came and was painting and doing things. The people there were doing nothing, but my San Diego, they were painting, they were recarpeting, they were doing everything. So then there was this feeling of, oh my God, they think she's a guru. And they come in, it was like no gratitude. It was fascinating. And so I went away for a month, and then these 5 assistant ministers went to the board and said, you could just pay us, this. And I had each one of them speak, each Sunday, because I wanted to give the olive branch. And you've hired her, but you could have us for this amount. And, and they just did this whole thing. So by the time I got back, the board said, we decided we were going to go with the assistant ministers, and we would like you to leave. Well, there was a big uprising in the congregation. So there was this huge uprising. And it was so interesting because the day that I became empowered was the day that they hired 5 armed guards to escort me out. 5 armed guards. Now, they're young guys, and they're going, you just seem like such a nice lady. You're just we really feel bad about doing this, but, they hired us to do this, and we feel I said, boys, breathe. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It is finished. And we come into certain situations, we give our gift, and the truth is that the universe has something else planned for us. Now, it's not fun. These situations are not fun, and energetically, it's rather traumatic. But if we open ourselves to the next level. We went across the street to the Santa Anita Hotel. You know, lots of people went with us. The whole thing fell apart because people think, if this can happen in a spiritual community, I don't want any part of it. But the truth is, it's all part of the collective consciousness. So we're either going to recreate it or we're going to take it to the next level and transmute the energy of pain and suffering into the quality, the transmutation of gold. So on that day that they hired 5 armed guards to escort me out was the day that I really knew how powerful I was. That any community or board that would hire 5 armed guards to escort me out, I must be much more powerful than I ever gave myself credit for, because people say, you're so powerful. I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm just being me. I'm still being me. But now I step into that energy and know who I am totally and completely. And when we step into the energy of who we are, and everyone here has a destiny to fulfill and a call, and when we accept that call, we go through the fire. We come out on the other end of the fire. So that occurrence so many years ago brought me to this place and all the amazing experiences that we have had the last 13 years in this place. And I was going to move on when I was 70, and y'all didn't want me to go. So I said, well, we'll get some good speakers in, and, you know, I'll do my global thing because I have a global calling. And not everyone does, but I'm very aware that I do. And I appreciate the generosity in our community that when I said, no, I won't go, because they were afraid that it's all going to fall apart. But sometimes things fall apart, like they have, I feel, so they can fall together at a higher level. They break down so we can break through to the energy that we need to experience. So to have people by our side that believe in us and see us, I see you, I see you. I see Jesse, who wrote that wonderful book, From the Cat House to the White House, born in a brothel, found himself with President Ford being his personal chef. Jesse's going to be 100 on February 16th. I just really acknowledge you. I really, really acknowledge you. So, we come together in community. We have these experiences. And I'm here to tell you that take the brokenness and make something beautiful out of it. Because it's there so we can break through and come out on the other side. And I know that Donna and Barbara are here for a reason, and I'm so proud to sign your marriage license, and the energy of love that moves beyond time and space. We move beyond time and space. The preciousness of this moment is that it will never come again. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. It is done. We have this moment. Let's move on this moment, because where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. And we know that. God bless you.